Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day of 30 NSG. I'm your host, Mike, and I'm 30 NSG. So on today's show, we're going to be talking about Jedi Survivor, the reviews that are out. We're going to talk about Skill Up, talking about the frame drops, and EA coming out and saying that they have a day one patch, which I already downloaded. Obviously, I'm not playing it, but the day one patch, what I'm saying is, has already gone through. So we'll see that. So we're going to go to Metacritic, read some of the reviews from there. We're also going to go and talk about all the scores coming out from the major. Now, these are just reviews. These are just their thoughts. They could be, awesome. They could be terrible. Wherever it lands, I'm just reading these to more of if people are on the fence or they don't know if they want to get the game, or if you already have the game because you absolutely love Jedi Fallen Order, you're automatically in. I know that Jesse in chat absolutely loves, and he's already ready to go. I know Stealth, myself. So we love the first game, so we're fans of the second game already based on what Respawn created in the first one. We're also going to go over Microsoft. The CMA blocked it yesterday. We're going to talk about a couple of things that what analysts are saying, what what's it called? What Bobby Kotick came out with Activision, what they're saying, they're kind of threatening the EU. So we're going to go over that as well. And then we're going to go over the Flash trailer. I'm pre-warning, we're making the Flash trailer. It's at 0.5, so it's slow. I'm not going to put any sound. Basically, I'm just going to discuss and talk about what I think of the trailer. And if you guys don't want any kind of spoilers or anything like that, because the trailer does show quite a bit, so I'll let you guys know about that before we get there. That'll be the last thing we cover on the show this morning. Good morning, Jesse Mack. Good morning, Travis. How's everyone doing? The new Transformers official trailer has came out today. I'm not interested in watching Transformers Rise of the Beast. I'm just not a fan of the films and the way they've done it. I'll wait for that game, that movie to come out. Sadly, today is a dark day. I've learned that 30 isn't all-knowing. What does that mean, Travis? Can't wait for the second game. Wait, threatening the EU? That seems like a bad idea. Yeah, but that's Bobby Kotick. I mean, that's Activision, not Microsoft. So we'll all talk about that. Let's start off with let's see, with Metacritic here. Right now, Jedi Survivor, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is at an 86 on Metacritic. Metacritic is not the one-all be-all. I'm just saying it's 86 on Metacritic. I believe the total scores that we have here, let me bring this up here. CG Magazine is given a 10 out of 10. VGC is given a 10 out of 10. Gaming Trends is given a 9.5 out of 10. PSU is given a 9.5 out of 10. Game Informer, 9.3 out of 10. IGN, a 9 out of 10. Games Radar, 9 out of 10. Easy Allies, 9 out of 10. Push Square, 9 out of 10. Tech Raptor, 9 out of 10. True Gaming, 9 out of 10. PSX Brazil, 9 out of 10. Geek Culture, 9 out of 10. Well Played, 9 out of 10. And Inverse, 9 out of 10. So it's up there, right? Now, you can look at this at two sides. It all depends on what kind of game this is, right? Where if they were low scores, it would be people review bombing, right? But if they're high scores, it's they're paid off to give it the highest scores. I don't think that's the case. You could tell when a certain game comes out and they get review bombed, or they get bloated, as I like to call, bloated bomb, where they get these high rankings, 10 out of 10. This game from the very start has always looked like it was going to be a really high-level game. The graphics, the only thing I had discrepancy was when the very first footage that we saw was Cal Kestis kind of looked clunky when he was like walking, but then they tell you why he's walking like that, and kind of like he got injured within the 5-year gap that from the first game to the second game. So I said this before, that Respawn, I can't go into, like, for instance, Bethesda kind of burned me with Fallout 76, so I'm a little iffy on their next game, where Respawn's last game and their other past games have been really good. So I can't go in just looking at going, oh, I don't know if this is going to be good. No, they showed me a really good game. I played Fallen Order, loved Fallen Order. It's one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. I would even say it's one of my favorite games. I would say it's in my top 10 of all time. Right, so I'm looking very much forward to this. We are going to be playing it on day one, on the Friday evening. I know it's at midnight tonight, but we won't be playing it at midnight tonight. So, a couple of things I want to go over Metacritic here. some of the reviews here. The Guardian says it might not quite match the narrative prowess of the BioWare Knights of the Old Republic, but Jedi Survivor has so much else going for it, whether you're tracking down optional bounty hunters, solving the puzzles in Jedi Temple, or searching Cobalt, many obscure thoroughfares to characters' upgrades. The game tactical controls, precisely balanced challenges make it consistently rewarding. Meanwhile, the biggest moments rival anything games like God of War or Elden Ring can throw at you, and be assured that the Star Wars games you're looking for. So, it said Elden Ring in there. Are you okay, Travis? Are you okay, Travis? It compared it to Elden Ring. You might not like the game now. I'm just joking with you. Adam Mick says, so if you want an experience of a solid adventure with improved gameplay, story, and graphics, it's clear that you should buy Star Wars Jedi Survivor. If you like the first game, you can't miss it. Looking good so that this saga continues to bring more installments for the future. I think this is where we always look at for video games, right? Like, you play the first one and you have kind of expectations, and like, where can they bring that expectations with the first one, right? So it has improved gameplay, check, right? Like, they set the standard, and now it's got an improved gameplay. It's got improved story, and it's got improved graphics. And I don't think it has to be leaps and bounds, right? Like, I'm not talking about like 8-bit graphics and then goes into like God of War status graphics. We just played Fallen Order just a couple weeks ago to review it again, right? To get back refreshed. It looks great, and it's 4 years old, right? So it's good to know that the gameplay, story, and graphics are an uptick. Okay. Gameable. Star Wars Jedi Survivor's exceptional sequel, improving the very grip fans had with Fallen Order, or gripe with Fallen Order, while adding countless new features. It'll also keep players engrossed for a long time. It takes something really special to come out to stop Survivor for being the best action/adventure game of 2023. Let's see here. COG Connected. Jedi Survivor is definitely Jedi video game experience. As Star Wars fans, I love it. I imagine it was a lot of fun to develop, and Jedi Team Respawn are absolutely rock stars for what they've achieved. I'm confident in the performance and hiccups of the PlayStation 5 will be resolved apart from, and I can't get enough of the game, and I'm actively finishing my initial playthrough, and I'm stoked to jump in to the new Game Plus. Now, we're not going to spoil anything for anybody. I don't want to be spoiled in any way, shape, or form. So there's not going to be any kind of, we're just going through the reviews process from all the different outlets here. Let me see what else we got. Here's a 60. I want to read the top ones. I want to read the low ones here. Let me see what this one's saying. Star Wars Jedi Survivor does much right in continuing Cal Kestis' story, delivering the best lightsaber combat in the game to date, along with the huge environments to explore. Sadly, it also launches with a bevy of technical issues and frame rate problems, with the provide worse experience early adopters players deserve better. Okay. So EA has already come out and said that they have a day one patch, which has, because the reviewers got the game before the patch went through. Since the patch went through, supposedly, it's been a much better experience, very little hitching and stuff going on. So much so that Skill Up yesterday came out and said, I have Jedi Survivor review up later, but right now I can say that it's a great game that you should absolutely avoid if you're playing on PC, for now, at least. The port is a total mess, namely awful frames per second performance, and cannot be improved through any settings changes. Okay, it struggles to maintain 40 frames per second on the 2080 Ti 3070X, and my 4090 590 50X cannot maintain a solid 60 frames per second. There's also a game-breaking audio bug at the moment that ruins every cutscene, and a PC patch planned for the 28th, recommended waiting until the impacts the patch are confirmed, which since that time, the patch has come through. At least it's come out on the console, so I don't know if it's come out for PC, but it's supposed to fix all of that. So if you're on the fence about this game and you're getting it for PC, maybe don't buy it day one. Maybe just wait to see if all the patches and stuff have been fixed and it doesn't have those issues, because first impressions are everything, right? And it would be very disheartening, especially since they delayed the game a little bit. And we'll go into that a little bit in a second. But they delayed the game, 6 weeks? Or I'm sorry, 6 weeks. Okay? And you would think that they would have gotten all of this fixed. Now, perhaps maybe the day one patch is those fixes that they had the issues with. But again, in this day and age, with games coming out, the PC ports have been less than stellar for a lot of people, and that's disheartening, because just imagine people are upset that the Xbox Series X is not running at 30 frames per second, and they only spent $500 on that system. If you're PC gamer and you have a 490, right? And you spent $1,200 on your graphics card, and you want to play a game and you can't because of the hitching and the drop frames and all stuff, that would piss me off, right? Just as much as Microsoft should be held accountable for dropping games like that, the PC market should be held accountable for the graphics and whatnot if it doesn't run on those type of graphic cards. So going back to the actual Metacritic score, let's see. Let's look at some more reviews here. We already read The Guardian. VGC says Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Star Wars is the very best thrilling adventure with stellar cast tied together in smart, expansive combat. Huge new worlds to explore. Performance issues aside, it's easily one of the best Star Wars games ever made and only makes us want more tales from the adventures of Cal Kestis and BD1. CG Magazine says, expertly expand upon the predecessor, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, not only one of the best Star Wars games to date, but masterclass in blending genres, pacing, and emotional gut punches. So that's good to know. I want to try to go down a little bit here. Let's see if we can get a lower score, because I want to see if the low scores are just talking about the performance issues, which they said they've already... Attack of the Fanboy here says, Star Wars Jedi Survivor builds a foundation established in Fallen Order and delivers expansive environments. Cramming with content and secrets, Respawn still falls into some of the same pitfalls that they did in the Fallen Order, though, namely in its underwhelming linear selections of middling stories. Okay, so there are things with the stories. Hardcore Gamer says Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order built a solid foundation on which it built a sequel, and Respawn Entertainment has happily obliged. Star Wars Jedi Survivor takes what worked in the first game and expands significantly. It's bigger, grander, and more ambitious with a few trade-offs. Now, I'm not going to click on there because I don't know if they're going to go into spoilers or whatnot, but it sounds like with a few trade-offs might be the story as well. PC Games, Star Wars Jedi Survivor presents itself as successful, sustainable, or sensible further development and predecessor, and the technical shortcomings are a pity, but should not distract from the overall. So it looks like they're also talking about the frames and stuff, which again I think are fixed. Let me go to chat real fast. Morning Al Dente. Looks wonky in the first one, and instead fixing it, they just gave it a story. Travis says, I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say that you is the same as me. Jedi Fallen Order is number 4. Overall. For like overall games, no. I it's not in my top 5. It's in Star Wars games, it's like number 1. I like it better. I like it better than KOTOR. But I also like Star Wars Galaxies, which is one of my favorite games ever played. And then there's also Star Wars Battlefront and whatnot. El Dente says, I hope Jedi Survivor is just Elden Ring reskinned. Jesse, the Jedi Survivor review code has performance problems, but they also review codes supposed to be issues with the early review code. Yeah. And like I said, Jesse, they've already put out the patch. So if the people that put reviews out and their problem was like stability issues and stuff, but they still gave it like a 9 out of 10, I think they kind of reviewed that. And again, I'm just putting my own thoughts here. I'm assuming if they gave it a 9 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10 and it did have issues, they probably said, oh, the day one patches would fix that, and it's not. There's some people talking about it's not a big deal, the little hitches and stuff, but I think that's console. I think the PC had bigger problems. Hero says, PC is the master race, though. Well, Hero, I don't know if you're being facetious in a way, but I would be pissed, right? I would be pissed if I was a PC player and all of a sudden my game didn't work. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, you know, well, they're supposed to be the master race type of thing, right? I'm assuming that's the way you're putting it. That would piss me off if I spent $1,200 on a graphics card and I can't hit the 60 frames per second. People are pissed off with the... yeah, I know you're being sarcastic. People are pissed off about Xbox not getting the 60 frames per second on a $500 system. You know what I mean? How many games have had to be bad on PC before people realize it's not the game? Well, it makes you wonder, right? And we look at this like let's talk about PlayStation for a second, right? PlayStation games are fantastic. Why? Can anyone raise their hand and tell me why PlayStation games are really good when they come out for PlayStation? Right? They're first-party titles. Why are they good? Right? You already know the answer. It's because they're only making it for PlayStation. Okay? They know what the hardware is. They know what the graphics card is inside that system. It's made for that one system. Okay. Xbox already can't compete because not only do they have to make it run on Xbox Series X, they're making it also run on the S, which is also playing the games on the One, which is also playing the games on the cloud. And PC, when they port the game over, they have to make it run. If you're going to look at Xbox and blame the games for being shitty because of the S, you have to look at computers and then blame it for the 960s. You got to blame it for the 1080s, okay? Because when they port the game over, they got to make sure it runs on all the systems. This is why they put a minimum and recommended, okay? The minimum is what's holding PCs back, okay? That's the problem. And because they have to spread themselves thin while they're making all these ports to work on these graphic cards and different processors and all this stuff, is the same reason why Xbox is spreading themselves thin when they have to work on the S, the One, the X, the S, and Game Pass, right? Sony's smart because they're only making it perhaps maybe for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. Oh, sure, Jesse. And that makes sense, right? That makes sense. Right? If you had to paint, right? If you had to paint 3 pictures, or if you had to paint 1 picture, what do you think is going to happen, right? 2 artists, okay, are doing the exact same drawing, but one artist has to paint 3 pictures, okay? He's got to make it on 3 different canvases, and the other one's got to make it on just 1. How much detail and stuff do you think the person with the 1, they have the exact same time? How many people, how much detail is going to be in that 1 canvas compared to the person that's making it on 3? A lot, right? You've seen those little videos on the internet where they do like a 10-second drawing, a 30-second drawing, and like a 5-minute drawing, right? The more time you have to spend on one thing, you can make it better. You can hone in on what it is. The spirit of Zero of the Boss, yeah. Not even because the new Horizon DLC is only on the PlayStation 5, so Sony is like, nah, the old console is dead. To get the new one, it's available. Right, exactly. They're even honing in on it even more. Hence why Ratchet and Clank was so good. Hence why, right? So there's lots of reasons why it happened. Overall, Jedi Survivor seems to be the real deal, right? It seems, and as much as we complain about video games in 2023, here we are, right? In end of April, and in February we had Hogwarts Legacy was a fantastic game, and then now we have Jedi Survivor coming out, and this was supposed to be out in April, but now it's out, or I'm sorry, it was supposed to be out in March, but now it's out in April. We were going to have back-to-back games month after month that were just flawless, basically, right? 9s and 10s across the board. And yes, there was performance issues with Hogwarts Legacy on certain things. Hopefully, when it comes out on the next the last gen systems, they still have pretty good scores for it. But I'm excited. I'm excited for Jedi Survivor. I'm excited for the story. I love playing story. They say the story is around 15 to 20 hours based on the difficulty level you play and whatnot. We're gonna probably play on the normal story, normal, because I want to get through it, and then also. We'll go back if we really, really love it, get in there and kind of 100% the game like we did the first time around. I'll play it at some point after I finish Survivor. Which one? Hogwarts? El Dente? You'll go back to Hogwarts after Survivor? Yeah, I'm really excited for Survivor. I'm really glad that the gameplay, and let's look at some gameplay. I have your Raptor up here. This is your Raptors gameplay. Make sure you guys go check out his channel. We reference him a lot on this channel because I watch him. So make sure you watch him. So this is his footage of it. The game just looks beautiful. I'm really excited to find out what you do inside the city. And I know they said there's some sort of mechanic inside the game that you're sort of like a settlement type of thing. So we'll see. What's going on, Shenanigans? I'm excited for the different stances. I'm excited for just the puzzles. I'm excited for the stories and the characters that were in from the last one that I want to know more about in this one. We saw Merritt in this in the trailer, the last trailer that we saw. So just more of like when I played Jedi Fallen Order the first time, I just got lost inside the world of Star Wars. To me, Fallen Order has been probably the best Star Wars since the Disney era started. Okay? And I'm talking about television shows and video games. Like it's the best Star Wars they've done, and I wish they would bottle it up and kind of like put it over to the shows. Okay? I hope that the story is just as good and whatnot with this, because big fan, and I'm excited for it. I don't know if you guys are. If you guys are interested in this game and you're on the fence about it or whatnot, I hope the reviews kind of like put you at ease of going, well, is this game going to be good? Is this game going to be bad? And if you're still on the fence because of the download of the day one patch that you have to download, and maybe on PC, it's not. You don't have to buy a game on day one, right? You don't have to buy a game on week one. You can wait. It's actually on sale right now, a 10% discount, I believe, from EA. I bought it yesterday, just the standard edition. It was $62 instead of $70. They gave a 10% discount on it. So if you're looking, and I'm not advertised by them in any way, shape, or form, I think the sale ends in a couple of hours. I know it was like a 24-hour sale or whatever it was, but you could pick up Jedi Survivor for just a couple of bucks more than a normal price the game used to be. Okay. So it's $62, and that's another reason I don't buy games pre-order from way ahead, because sometimes they go on sale right before they go out now. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this, and also the patch went through and it optimized, so it's not 140 gigs. It was like 133 gigs on the Xbox Series X, if I'm not mistaken. Hero says, I have the first game, bought it day one, and I never played it. Is the game worth my time? I think it is, but that's coming from a Star Wars fan, Hero. Where's my baseball? What's this talking shit? What's going on, Creature? The baseball's done. It's uploading every single day. If you missed any of it, I know you're being facetious there. Travis says, Fallen Order is Star Wars if it wasn't being handled by Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah, exactly, Travis. And I don't think she has anything to do with it. I think Respawn is I mean, obviously they have to talk to Lucas because he's canon, right? Cal Kestis is canon. The stuff that happens in the game is linked to the stories of the future and stuff and whatnot. So Shenanigans is the same. I stopped playing the first one because I got busy, but considering buying this one. Well, I'll tell you what. If Shenanigans, if you haven't finished the first one, wait, don't buy this one yet, right? If you're gonna get ruined by somebody because on social media or whatnot, go play the first one, finish it. The story's fantastic, and I think you would need to finish that one unless you guys go want to watch a YouTube video, and then play this one, right? Because again, this is a single player game. You don't have to buy this day one. It'll be there, and if you play it later, you'll get it on a sale. Oh, she has nothing to do with it. This is why. Well, I don't want to say she has nothing to do with it. I don't remember the credits, but I'm pretty sure she's got credits in the first one. But I think that's by law because she's part of the company. So, Boss says, when I enjoy games, the absolute most is when I ignore all opinions and videos, etc. Sure, Boss. I mean that goes with anything, right? If you're gonna enjoy, here's the thing: people that are on the internet looking for reviews and stuff like that are looking for reviews. The people that are outside the internet or yourself that knows that opinions are opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, and you make your own choices. But a lot of people want to know, I have $60, I have $70. Is it worth my money, right? Is it worth my time? Right? So I'm excited for Jedi Survivor. I was thinking about starting at midnight tomorrow after the podcast, but it's going to be a late night, and then I'm going to go to the next day, and then we have the podcast in the morning with Lono, and then I'm going to stay up late again. So I'm just going to wait until Friday evening and then play the game. So we'll have a stream Friday night at around 10 o'clock, and we'll play about 2-3 hours on the first night, and then next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're gonna be playing every day until we beat the story. So, and I'll be behind. Like, I'm not gonna play on the weekend, so you guys will probably, if you get the game ahead of time, you'll probably be ahead of me in the story. What I do ask for those of you that come in every day and hang out with me, that when I'm playing the game, that you don't ruin my experience, because I'm not over your shoulder in your house ruining your experience. You know what I mean? So just respect that when I play the game, that you're not going, oh, go around this corner, oh, you missed this. Don't do any of that. Like, I wanna experience the game just like you want to experience the game. So, all right, let's go to the next story here. So let's go to Microsoft. Let's talk to Microsoft. Says Activision deal blocked is the darkest day in 4 decades in Britain. Now, I haven't read this. I haven't read this. So, obviously, what happened yesterday, just to catch people up, is the CMA blocked Microsoft from going ahead. They kind of threw a curveball to Microsoft. Microsoft was the entire time was like protecting, telling people, look, we're not taking Call of Duty away from everything, right? And that's what the CMA was focused on, about the consoles. They did bring up cloud gaming, but Microsoft didn't portray enough to say, hey, look, this is not what we're doing, because they could easily, right? Microsoft could easily, once the deal goes through, all of a sudden take all the Activision games, put them on Game Pass, and then raise the price of Game Pass. And they want to make sure that it's competitive, and they don't do those type of things, right? So they didn't overwhelmingly sell the cloud gaming to the CMA. So the CMA blocked it and said, okay, so now they're doing an appeal. Now the appeal can take anywhere up to 9 months to 3 years to figure out and whatnot. And some of the things they could do if it goes through. Now, we know the FTC is blocking it. They said they're already blocking it, but they're going to go to trial. And if they go to trial, the FTC does have a winning record. I think it's like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like 15-6, 15-7, something like that, where they have won, but they have lost other cases. They lost the case with Facebook, and they also, I think, lost the case with Epic, if I'm not mistaken. So it's still up in the air. As far as it's not dead in the water as the other people, and I don't have a race in the horse in the race. I don't care if it goes through or not. But some people are like, oh, it's dead. Microsoft has done it. It's not dead. It's not done by any fathoms of the way. It is harder for them to get through. But if they go to trial in America, the UK is a very small portion of the gaming industry. Now, if China says no on this, then I think it's done, because they have 700 million gamers in the world, and that's a big thing, where the United States only has, or I should say North America has about 209 million gamers in the player base, where the UK or Europe only had 30. And I say 30 like only 30, but it's a small percentage, so it's not the small area dictating what happens for the rest of the world. What could potentially happen is that if it doesn't go through, and then the deal does go through for the rest of the world, that Game Pass with Activision and whatever else wouldn't be on the UK. So basically, UK and the European would get less for the same price. It would almost be like, the early access, like Hogwarts, right? We all paid $70 for the game, but PlayStation got more, and we have to wait, type of thing, right? So you're paying more, but not getting the exact same type of stuff. So let's read this article, right? So Microsoft says Activision deal blocked. It's in the darkest day in 4 decades in Britain. So on Wednesday, the Competition of Market Authority, CMA, said it was preventing a $69 billion merger due to concerns about the impact of the future of cloud gaming market. Speaking of the BBC, Microsoft President Brad Smith said the decision marked probably the darkest day in our 4 decades in Britain. Quote, it does more than shake our confidence in the future opportunity to grow the technology business in Britain and than ever confronted before. Smith said people are shocked, people are disappointed, and people's confidence in technology in the UK has been severely shaken. It claims that the UK wants to make Britain a place where technology is not only going to flourish, but to create, and then it needs to look hard in the role of the CMA regulatory structure. Smith added that there's a clear message here that the European Union is a more attractive place to start a business than the United Kingdom. While the U.S. and the EU competition regulators have yet to decide whether to approve the deal, the CMA said the decision means that the deal can't be completed. Activision, oh, by the way, they don't need the CMA to complete the deal, by the way. They don't. So Activision is intertwined, though, with different markets and can't be separated for the UK. So this decision blocked the deal from happening globally. The watchdog said Microsoft and Activision have confirmed their intentions to appeal the CMA's decisions. Now, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick recently told CNBC that blocking Microsoft acquisition to Call of Duty publisher would represent a major blow to the UK government ambition on becoming a technological superpower. Quote, if a deal like this can't get through, there's not going to be a Silicon Valley, there'll be a Death Valley, he said back in February, on the same day as UK Prime Minister announced that the creation of the new standalone government department for science, innovation, and technology. Now, the CMA chief executive Sarah Cardell told the BBC she disagreed with Smith's comments. Quote, I think the decision shows actually how important it is to support competition in the UK, and the UK is absolutely open for business, she said. Quote, we want to create an environment where a whole host of different companies are compete effectively, can grow, innovative. So, yesterday, Microsoft participated in the Downing Street reception and celebrated the success of the UK games industry. Its role is to grow the economy. Our global, renowned video game industry has attracted investments, creating skilled jobs, opening opportunities for growth, and also tweeted attending the event, which also organized by the trade. So that's one, right? Now, analysts say Microsoft's Activision deal is not dead ahead of the UK appeal. Okay, so let's look at this as well. In a report in the CMA, argued the merge would give Microsoft an incentive to increase the price of Game Pass with the value enhancements of adding Activision's valuable content to it. And even if the modest price increase would significantly reduce the eliminate potential relevant of consumer benefits. Now, Microsoft Activision subsequently confirmed the intentions to appeal the CMA's decision, and all hope that not lost, according to Michael Packner, the managing director of Equally Research Web Security. Now, in research note sent VGC, Packner said that the CMA had thrown a wrench into the process, but the deal isn't dead. Now, I know what people are looking at. They're saying, well, Packner's been wrong on a lot, but he's also been right on a lot. So just like all of us, right? You could bat 1 out of 4, since we've been playing a lot of baseball here, right? You could get one hit every game, and you're a Hall of Famer. You could be a Hall of Famer at 250 average, okay? So you don't always have to be right, but take it with a grain of salt on what these analysts say, right? Nobody, myself, you, them, can get everything 100% right all the time, okay? In a research note, he believes Microsoft can win the case appeal, but even if it doesn't, he said Xbox maker could still make concessions that would help clear the deal. Quote, while successfully appealing the CMA decision, a difficult task for several reasons, we think the CMA is on the wrong side of the law on its ruling and believe the concerns can be addressed, he wrote. Ultimately, the ruling hinges on the CMA's belief that Microsoft will have pricing power due to the market dominance in cloud gaming. We think the CMA's belief is correct, and Microsoft erred not addressing the issue before the CMA's ruling. Now, that's a big thing, right? I think Microsoft, and I think Sony, bravo to Jim Ryan and what he was doing, they were focusing solely on Call of Duty, what it's doing for the consoles, what it's doing for this. And Microsoft's like, hey, look, we're making deals, man. Look, we're not trying to take Call of Duty away from you. We're making deals with Nintendo. We're making deals with Booster. We're making deals with GeForce Now, which 2 of those are cloud gaming things. But they were focused on Call of Duty. Okay, and I think they got blinded because they didn't show the CMA what they could do with cloud gaming, okay? And they were caught off guard here, right? Everything was in play, and they were focused on the wrong thing, and the CMA was focused on the whole thing. But Microsoft was focused on what Sony was saying, and they were focused on Call of Duty, right? So, however, I firmly believe that Microsoft is willing to concede maintaining pricing at $15 per month plus inflation. We believe that the CMA will reserve its position, and Microsoft makes that offer. In a statement provided by the VGC, our ruling said today that ruling was clearly a blow to Microsoft and Activision in their efforts to get acquisitions over the line, but the deal could close this year. Historically, a majority of the CMA appeals have been unsuccessful, but there's also still a chance that this can get overturned, he said. According to the Competition Appeal Tribune, a straightforward case is also aimed to dealt with within the 9 months, but often take at least a few months. Quote, if it appeals successful, it'll then return to the CMA to review, which then they have to do everything over again. Basically, everything they've done for the last 6 months, 9 months, they would have to do that again. Show the whole thing over again and be like, hey, this is exactly what we told you before, but here's the stuff that we forgot to tell you, right? It's not just like Cliff Notes and like, here, we're adding this to this. You have to show them and tell them why they should go through with this. So should the appeal prove unsuccessful, Packner said Microsoft could still win the CMA's approval by agreeing to keep Activision Blizzard titles off its Game Pass subscription service in the UK. Now, I talked about this months ago as well, right? He said it in another interview on Destin's podcast and said, look, they could just make another company that just runs that part of the UK and say, okay, great. So it goes through for the rest of the world, and they make it and go, they follow by the rules of the UK. Okay, this has been done in the past with Activision by taking loot boxes and stuff off of certain platforms. Same thing with Japanese companies and Chinese companies. They have certain things on one service, but not the other. This is the exact same type of thing. So let's say it does go through, right? Microsoft does get approved from they win the case with the FTC. The rest of the world, the Activision Blizzard deal goes through. The UK says, no, we don't want that stuff over here. They say, okay, you have Game Pass, but now Game Pass doesn't have any Activision games. It doesn't have Diablo. It doesn't have World of Warcraft, Overwatch. Whatever happens with Activision, it just won't be on the UK standard of the stuff. And this is what I was just talking about, where they would pay the $10 or $15, and they would have less stuff on that platform for them over there than we would have over here or in Brazil or in Canada or whatever. So it says it can separate Game Pass UK from Game Pass elsewhere, either by creating a separate entity in the UK that can easily be monitored by the CMA or by the imported third party, or merely managing the UK business separately, he wrote. He expects that this will be sufficient for the CMA to rule the merge acceptance and condition, and the Activision titles are not available on Game Pass. Because you got to remember, the CMA is only worried about the UK, right? They're not governing over the rest of the world. The FTC is governing over here, and they have to go through a whole bunch of loopholes and stuff with each country and whatnot. So Microsoft will agree to this condition subject to appeal. Should it prevail, it captures a full value from the acquisition. Should it fail, it captures most of the value, but at prospects of Game Pass growth in the UK, a low percentage of global GDP will be eliminated due to the lower amount of content available for the service. In a statement released by the CMA, published, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick said work on an appeal had already begun and claimed that the company has confidence in the case because the facts are on our side and the deal is good for competition. Now, those of you, what was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought real fast here. Kotick has put out, and I don't have it. I lost it. I closed it. And I'm gonna have to find it again. But Kotick kind of like put a thread out to them, and I'm just like, that's not the smartest move. But are we surprised that Bobby Kotick would say something like that? Do you know what I mean? So I believe that the deal will go through at some time. It's like Activision wins regardless on this front, because if it doesn't get full through, they get $3 billion regardless. Okay, and then if they do go through, well, then they get $69 billion. So Kotick's pocketing and doing certain things. I kind of want to bring up what the cloud gaming is. A lot of people might not know what the cloud gaming is and what the market share is. Okay, so right now, this is what the CMA is worried about. Okay, that Microsoft, I don't know if it's too small and you guys can't see it. Let me see if I can get it bigger. Yeah. Okay. So Microsoft Xbox Cloud Gaming. Wait a minute. Where's the other one? That was 2021. Where's the new one? There it is. Okay. Why does it do that? Why does it do that? Okay. Microsoft Xbox Cloud Gaming is 60 to 70% of the market. Okay. NVIDIA and GeForce Now is 10 to 20%. And Microsoft did sign the deal where they said, hey, yeah, we're bringing all the games over to GeForce Now. Right? Sony PlayStation Cloud is also 10 to 20%. Google Stadia is 0 to 5, and Amazon Luna is 0 to 5. What the CMA is saying is, look, you're already 60 to 70%. With Activision, you're now taking that 60, 70%, and now you're basically getting like a 75% or 80% of the market, because now you're taking really popular games and putting them on your service. And if everyone's coming to your service, then you're taking advantage and you get to set the price and set the standards. Now, it does go across the board, though, to other companies as well, right? You look at For instance, a browser. Now, obviously, there's a lot of browsers out there that you can use, okay? But Chrome is 64.8% of the market. Safari is 19%, Edge is 4%, Firefox is 2%, Opera is 2.3%. So this happens in all businesses, right? The emerging part of this, right, because of technology, they're worried that the emerging of this is the problem. Because right now people are jockeying for position. Okay? Think of this as like the gold rush back in the day, right? Where everyone was they came out west and they just ran out, and whoever got the gold, right? This is the Wild West of cloud gaming. And they're trying to get position. Microsoft was smart enough ahead of time to get into that market way, way before anybody else was doing. Hence why they have the Azure program, and other people that are in the cloud gaming are using Microsoft Azure to get into cloud gaming. So now they're being punished, per se, because they already have a market and they want other people to get the share. But no matter what happens, there's going to be a market share where one group is higher than everybody else. Obviously, 60, 70. If that was down to, like, let's say 60, 50 to 60, or even 40 to 50, it brings everyone else closer into business where they can all compete with each other. They don't want them to get way ahead, because then it's just, not enough trickle down for the rest of the companies to make their money, right? Now, Booster, which is one of the other companies that came out and said that they're okay. This is the company that was like GeForce Now for cloud gaming, right? They're another big provider for cloud gaming. There's also, I think, OnLive. Isn't OnLive still a thing? 40, 50 definitely wouldn't be a monopoly, but 70 to 80 would kill everybody off, which is a monopoly. It's not a monopoly. No monopoly has ever been a monopoly. Is literally one, like, you're control the whole thing, right? That's how the game works, boss. No one's ever brought up monopoly except people on the internet that think this is a monopoly, right? It's not a monopoly in any way, shape, or form. In any way, shape, or form. It's not even the definition of monopoly. All right, let me go back what you guys are saying here, because I went on a big rant here. It's because the Xbox is garbage, right? That's coming from a Sony guy, okay? Jesse says 13 more hours till Jedi Survivor comes out. Shenanigan says, so Xbox greater than Queen dying. Quote, I'm an Xbox shill. Yeah. Shenanigans, I mean, the Queen's dying was mad at best. Travis says the Americans, so I don't care about the Queen of the nation we owned. Now he's taking shots at other people, okay? Boss says Microsoft president, for whatever, basically the UK could fail or could fall behind the tech. And I think that was a threat, but not a threat. Yeah, no, it was definitely a threat that Bobby Kotick would 100%. And it wasn't the Microsoft president. There was an actual threat from Bobby Kotick. Like, they would basically take it away. Like, they wouldn't work with them anymore. Travis says, you know why? Because Sony is a gaming company. Xbox is a potato company. Well, Sony's not a gaming company either. Sony is a technology company. That's why they make television sets and tons of other things. They just happen to have a sector inside of that thing. Sony is basically Microsoft, but just a smaller Microsoft. That's what Sony is. Activision Blizzard Xbox deal coming to you in the same time as the day before, aka never. The post a link in the news if you want to see a clip. If nothing, must see for what? In submitted stories. Previous Microsoft boss says confidence in the UK is severely shaken. I think that's the thing we just kind of read, isn't it? This might be the same type of thing we just read. Furious Microsoft boss. Let me see. The move was bad for Britain. The UK move means multi-billion-dollar deal. Cannot go ahead globally. Yeah, this is the same quote we just read. People are shocked. People are disappointed. Yeah, we read all that. CMA is correct. Go on. I mean, they are correct. They ambush them with the Call of Duty deal, but the reality is they were going for the mobile market. Sure, Microsoft was buying Activision for the mobile market. PlayStation did the play of saying they're taking Call of Duty away from them, showing that the CMA that they're worried about console. Then Microsoft was trying to show everybody, oh no, we're not taking this game away from you, we're not doing that. And meanwhile, they're like, oh, and what about cloud gaming? Yeah, but 7080 kills them off. It doesn't kill them off. They're still there. See, the way businesses work, though, is that they're still getting 30%. They're still getting 20%, but that's not enough for them, right? That's not enough for them. Obviously, I'm not agreeing that they should get 70, 80%. I understand what the CMA is trying to do. It's an emerging business, and they're trying to jockey for position. They're trying to get other points, right? They're trying to make other businesses that want to get into the market of cloud gaming that they're not fighting over 30%. They want to fight for 40 to 50%, right? They want to make sure there's enough there to get around. If there's a bunch of smaller businesses, right? Like you could look, if you broke down like first-person shooters, right? Obviously they don't do this, but if you look at every first-person shooter was a business, Call of Duty would be the 80%. Everybody else would be a small percentage, 5, 3, 2. Like nobody would be at 10%, right? Call of Duty would be that 80%. Should Call of Duty be shut down because it was that popular and got up to that 80%? Businesses are business, right? Obviously, that's here nor there because that's a first-person shooter. It's not a business. It's a genre in a business. In your opinion, 30, do you think that the acquisition is bad? I don't really have feelings about it either way. I don't like consolidation shenanigans. I don't like that Disney bought Marvel. I don't like that Disney bought Star Wars, right? Competition breeds innovation, right? And I don't like that they're going to buy it, but at the same time, someone is going to buy it. If it's not Microsoft, it'll be Amazon, right? Like, think about this. Microsoft can afford it, but they don't want them to buy it because it would give them a better percentage. Now, Amazon, according to this, where's the let me bring this back up here. Where is Yeah. Right? Amazon Luna is 0 to 5%, right? And Amazon has the money where if they want to buy Activision, they could. Okay? So the CMA would look at it and say, no, Microsoft, you're not allowed to buy it. But then Google comes in or Amazon comes in because they're only 5% of the market. And then they say, yeah, you can buy it because you're only 5% of the market. And then they'll be okay. And then they would go from like 5% to say like 15%. They would jump ahead of like Sony and Nvidia with just that one purchase, right? That's what they don't want. They don't want that extra ahead, especially since Microsoft, because it's not just Xbox. It's Microsoft. Microsoft has all the servers and all the cloud gaming service. They're providing other things in the cloud gaming space, right? They don't want to give them the other advantage on top of it, right? So if Nvidia wanted to buy them, it would go through. If Sony wanted to purchase them, it would go through. If Google wanted to buy them, it would go through because their percentage is so low in the cloud gaming space, right? They wouldn't be as strict on them because their businesses, they're lower and they want to have competition, right? But if the lead gets a bigger lead, that's where they have a problem with, right? The link wasn't for the story, the article. It was for the video Microsoft President Brad Smith threatening the UK. All right, let me go back to it.
We're, of course, very disappointed about the CMA's decision, but more than that, unfortunately, I think it's bad for Britain. The business community, the investment community, and the technology sector around the world have been following this case. And the strong message the CMA has sent is not just to surprise everyone who fully expected this acquisition to be approved, but to send a message that I think will discourage innovation and investment in the United Kingdom. And I think in that sense, the impact of this decision is far broader than on Microsoft or this acquisition alone. Microsoft has been in the United Kingdom for 40 years, and we play a vital role, not just supporting businesses and nonprofits, but even defending the nation from cybersecurity threats. But this decision, I have to say, is probably the darkest day in our 4 decades in Britain. It does more to shake our confidence in
Yeah, we
the
read this.
future of the opportunity to grow a technology business in Britain than we've ever confronted before.
Yeah, we literally read the exact quote from the video. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's really a threat. I mean, again, we're looking at as gamers that Xbox, he's Microsoft working with the company, working with the country for 40 years, and they feel like this. He feels like this is a slap in the face type of thing that they. But again, it's always I'm the victim type of thing, right? They're not a small little company. They're a $1 trillion company. I think the third largest company in the world. You know, it's funny to me because I think Apple right now is like 63% of the gaming market, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Like this is what they want, right? This is what they want. They want a good balance, which is what PlayStation, Microsoft, and Nintendo are. 46, 25, 28. They're all there. They're all making enough money from each of the things. They can jockey positions from each month or whatnot. Okay. They're all getting enough. Okay. There's always one at the top. There's always going to be a leader. They're always going to have a bigger percentage than everybody else until they don't. Okay. But that's what they want. They want to get them below the 50% line type of thing. NVIDIA is a close ally to Microsoft, seeing as they are the same market alliance. Well, so is Booster, the other one. They came out and said we're okay with Microsoft doing this, right, for cloud gaming, and they're the next people in cloud gaming. This is that thing they were talking about, bringing it to 150 different devices, right? So, again, I don't really have too much to add to it. I mean, I don't care if the deal goes through or the deal doesn't go through, right? To me, it's just more games on Game Pass, right? Which doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form because I'm paying the amount of money on a streaming service, right? If Netflix wants to buy Fox and Disney bought Fox, okay, it doesn't do anything for me as a customer, as a consumer. I'm paying the subscription fee, and now they have more movies on there, right? But as a business, it does affect a lot of things going on because, if a company gets too big, right, in the future, 30 years from now, Microsoft could be, what's that brand from Idiocracy? Or even what's the in Wall-E? What was those brands? Right? You see what I'm saying? Like, if a company gets so big, right, they're all jockeying for position to become the one-all, be-all, right? There's no good guy here, right? I'm not waiting for Microsoft to send me a birthday card in 2 weeks because I bought Microsoft stuff. I'm not waiting for Sony to send me a birthday card because I bought Sony stuff, right? All conglomerate companies have to keep living on. They're inanimate objects that have to keep eating and breathing, and they have to buy up companies to keep making more money to always do this, right? I don't like all the consolidation. I don't like that Disney does it. I don't like that Darwin does it for all the food companies, like for the restaurants. They have like 12 different chains underneath them, right? So you think you don't like a certain company. You're like, oh, I don't like this. But they own other 12 chains. It's sort of like everyone thinks Bud Light's Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, but they own like 128 different types of brands, right? We don't know that as the general public. You just think, oh, it's Microsoft, it's Xbox. No, they own so many things. Disney owns so many things. Never watched Wall-E? Was it any good? Oh, it was a really good movie. It was really good. But there's a company there, I forget what the name of it is, but they basically own the entire thing. The world's basically shit because of the company, right? In Idiocracy, I forget what the company is. It's like a Walmart type of thing. They own everything. They bought everything, right? That's where these companies are going. That's where Amazon wants to go. That's where Microsoft wants to go. That's what Apple wants to go. Right, Travis. And that's where I stand. I don't want the cable companies to buy it up, right? I want a choice. I don't have a choice where I live. I'm stuck with I don't even know what the goddamn name is. It was Bright House. I don't even know what the hell it is now. I did this a couple weeks ago. I still don't know my provider because I don't give a shit. Not Comcast? No, it's not Comcast. Creature, what the hell is our service over here? I don't even Spectrum. That's what it is. Spectrum. Right? Because they change names all the time, right? Bright House was Spectrum, which was 18, whatever, right? So Spectrum is the one. But that's the thing, though, right? If Sony did this deal, Travis, which they can't, it would be too much money with the overall. But if Sony did this deal, it would go through. It would go through because in that space, they're not. Well, actually, I don't know if it would go through because they own such a large market share in the console space. I don't know if it would go through. If Amazon or Google did it, it would go through for them. Isn't Spectrum Charter? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's Charter. It might be, but if it is, point proven. You know what I mean? It would just be. I want people. I want more options. I want more options for things, right? Could you imagine? Let's take it from a smaller perspective. YouTube, there's millions of people that are streaming, right? And we all have different channels. Could you imagine that all of this? Obviously, it's owned by Google, but we're all independent creators, right? Could you imagine if you turn on YouTube and no matter what channel you want on YouTube, it's just the same person across the whole thing? There was no options. It was just all Mr. Beast and a couple other people, right? It'd be terrible. It'd be terrible. So that's where we are. That's where we stand with the Microsoft stuff here. Let me look at it, see if we're missing anything here. That was a review of that. Survivor patches. We read that. That's the Survivor. That was the footage of Star Wars. What else we got here? That's all right. Nothing but 30. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. All right, the next thing is the Flash trailer. Okay. This is your warning. Okay. This is your warning. If you don't want to know anything about the trailer or the movie, come back later. We're gonna look at the trailer. It's gonna be playing really slow, 0.5, because I want to see if I get hit with I'm doing an experiment here. Okay, we're not watching it full speed. We're kind of just watching the visuals that are going on, and then I'm gonna comment as it's doing it. There's gonna be no sound. We're just kind of just talk about it as it's on the screen. Okay, so all right, this trailer. I think personally, Flash was my least favorite character in the DC movies and whatnot. I don't not like Ezra Miller because I don't like Ezra Miller. I don't like Ezra Miller as Flash. I like the Flash, Burt Gustin from CW. I think he is the Flash. I've always in the past I was upset that when they brought Superman in and they got Henry Cavill, I was like, you should have gotten Tom Welling. That was Superman in the Smallville show. I would have loved to see him in the actual like feature film. But then when Cavill came in, I was like, he is Superman. And same with Burt Gustin. I would love to see him as the Flash in this. And I think they could have had an opportunity. Now, obviously, I don't know if Burt Gustin wanted to do it or not, but I think this would have been a perfect opportunity to kind of like bring him in and get rid of Ezra afterwards. Oh yeah, he's a lunatic, Sarge. But what I'm saying is, I'm not judging the movie based on his being a lunatic, right? It's weird that the live action movies can't do superpowered characters right. That's the issue. Yeah, I kind of think it's weird that Zod is the goddamn villain again, right? They couldn't have picked anybody else. DJ says Flash is my favorite hero, but this ain't it. Yeah, I like Flash. I just don't like Ezra. I think it was a bad casting. So let me see what the projected thing is. I think let's see. Flash film. Comes out in June, right? Yeah. Yeah. So this comes from Click on Click. Okay. The Flash budget and box office collection prediction. Okay. Let me see if this is it. The Flash made a whopping budget of $200 million in production. Okay. The film no, but it needs the Flash box office collection prediction. The Flash is expected to earn around $700 million at the box office. The film is surely going to be a blockbuster due to being highly awaited. I don't know, man. That's not the article I saw. That's $700 million they think it's going to make. No, their actual budget, it's like, well, see, this is what movie companies do. They don't tell you this, but this is what they do. Okay? When they say the budget to the public, they tell you the initial cost of what the budget is, right? So, for instance, we talked about this, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago when I worked on Never Back Down. Okay? That movie on Box Office Mojo said it was $20 million. I know for 100% fact it was budget. The budget was $50 million. That's before advertisement. Okay, it was worth $50 million. It was $50 million budget. They said it was $20 million budget. So this is the way it works. They tell you what their initial cost is, and they tell you like, hey, how much do you think we can make this movie for? Oh, we can make this movie for, and that's the initial cost, right? Which is $200 million. But then there's the actual cost, and then the cost on top of that was the advertisement and all the marketing and everything like that. And then the cut they lose to the movie theaters and different countries and whatnot. So the $200 million is the budget that they had originally, okay? But then it got reshoots. They don't add that into that number. It's on the back end in their world. It's there, but for the public to see, they don't add that number to it. They don't. Because they wanted to show you that, oh, it costs this amount of money. They don't want to tell you how much it actually costs, because if it actually costs that, then you would know how much they actually need to make. This is why it's an estimate type of stuff, right? $50 million. Who do you think kidnapped Chelsea Clinton? Right? So there's a lot of false stuff. So let me see what they say here as far as I don't know. They don't actually say what. I forget where I saw that article. I think this movie makes about 600, 700 million. I do. Total. I think this movie barely breaks even. Because just like the Bond film a couple years ago, it needed to make, I think, $900 million. And it did. I think it did it make its money? I forget what the last Bond film did. Box Office Mojo. What was the last Bond movie called? It was No Time to Die. Is that what it was? 2021? Yeah. Yeah. That lost money. It needed to make $900 million. It made $774 million, so it lost $200 million. Yeah. It lost $200 million. And that's because of what happened in the world, and they had to delay it and reshoots and whatnot. That's about the same thing as the DC movie right now of The Flash. The Flash needs to make around $700 million to break even. And I don't know if it does. 500 to 550. You're saying that's what you think it's going to make, DJ? Worldwide or domestic? You're saying worldwide. Water 760, 900 mil. Has there been a movie from DC that's made $1 billion? Okay. Let's see. Franchise DC Extended Universe. Wonder Woman gross 412. Aquaman 335. This is domestic? Is that domestic? Hold on. Let me see what Wonder Woman made. Yeah, okay. That's domestic. So Wonder Woman made 821 million. Okay. Aquaman made 1.1 billion. Yeah. Okay. Aquaman made 1.1 billion. Batman the Justice, that made 873 million. Suicide Squad made 746 million. Man of Steel made 668 million. Justice League made 657 million. Shazam, the first one, 365 million. Birds of Prey made 205 million. Shazam Fury of the Gods is number 10 overall, and that made 132 million? No, that can't be. You're telling me Suicide Squad, the new Suicide... Oh, it was on streaming service. Yeah, 168. Wow. There's a big drop-off. So, okay. So nobody passed this... Nobody passed Shazam. We have Black Adam. Okay. Because this movie is Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck and The Flash, and it's supposed to be the culmination of whatever... I'm gonna say, okay, so Suicide Squad made 746 million. I'm gonna say, based off this estimate, Man of Steel made 668. I'm gonna say that just because the DC fans have not been coming to the theaters, okay, I'm gonna say it makes less than Man of Steel. Okay. So it's going to be between Man of Steel and Justice League. So Justice League made 657. Okay, 657. Hold on. And Man of Steel made 668. It's going to be around that. Yeah. I think it'll make around 600 million. It might be just below Justice League. Black Adam made 700. Are you sure? Black Adam made 393 million. What are you looking at? What are you talking about? What alternate universe are you in, Water? Black Adam didn't even make its money back. All right, 30. If it makes 760 to 900 million, you have to wear a Batman shirt every day for a week for the next month. I don't even own a Batman shirt. I don't even know. Actually, I do have a Batman shirt. I don't know where it is though. And if it doesn't, what do you have to do? At 393 million, the budget for that was 200 million. It needed to make 400 and I think 450 million, 500 million to make its money back. It lost to almost 200 million. He has to buy you a PlayStation 5. That was the most delusional thing Waters ever said. Black Adam made 700 million. I'm like, what? Well, to be honest with you, the Rock has had a lot of flops, boss. Has had a lot of flops. The only movie that he didn't really flop in was the Fast and Furious series. Let me close all these tabs down because I have way too many tabs open, and then we'll do some research on Dwayne the Rock Johnson here. All right, the numbers. As an actor, let's see here. Let's bring this up. Now, we'll have to look at some certain things, right? So Black Adam, we know lost money. Okay, we know lost money. Red Notice, which was a Netflix thing, that lost money. Okay. Then we know Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise itself, the budget for that was 150 million. It needed to make about 350 million to make its money back. It made 210 million. So that also lost money. Jumanji is actually very profitable. He made a lot of money with Jumanji Next Level and the other Jumanji as well. So he did make money with that. Yeah, Jumanji, he actually made, I believe the box office, the budget for those were like 150 mil. So he made about $300 million, $400 million on those for that. So that's actually good. Fast and Furious, but that's not on his back, right? There's lots of people there, and that's a big series as well. Hobbs and Shaw, I think he made quite a bit there. Let's see. Skyscraper lost money. Rampage, I believe, lost money. I'm gonna have to double check on. Let me see what the budget was. Let me look up. Was it Rampage? 120 million. So it need to make about 300 million. 300 million. It made 427. So he did make money there. So that's a profitable film. So Rampage, Jumanji, we know. Baywatch. I think Baywatch was a flop as well. 175 mil. I forgot that he did Baywatch. $69 million. About $200 million it needed to make. How much did it make? Baywatch made 175, so it probably lost about 20 mil. Again, these are very generalistic. Moana made money, so that's good. San Andreas, not sure. San Andreas probably needed to make about 300 million, so he probably made money there. Hercules, he lost money. G.I. Joe Retaliation lost money. I would say he's above 500. I would say he's above 500. I would say he's about a 60% of making money. I would say that. He's not a definite guarantee to make money. Right? He's made $13 billion at the box office in 45 features. Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm not saying what my argument was, boss, that he's not guaranteed to make you money. Who else is that high? Keanu Reeves. I would say Keanu Reeves is probably, let's see. As an actor. Well, he hasn't made as much money as The Rock. And he's done a lot more movies. He's done a lot more movies. But he's also worked on movies that are not as high budget as The Rock's. Every movie The Rock has made more money because he was in it. Oh, 100%. I'm going to say I agree with that. It's made more money, but the movies he's in didn't make money, right? So if it made 300 million, it might have only made 150 million. I'll agree with that 100%. I'll 100% agree with that. Yeah. I'll agree with that. Can you imagine? I mean, it's a different time, right? Well, the last Matrix sucked balls. The last Matrix was absolute garbage. But what's a budget for one of the John Wick films, right? I think it's like $50 million, isn't it? $100 million for John Wick, right? $100 million for John Wick. And John Wick 1, what year was that? 2014. It didn't make money. John Wick 1 did not make money in the box office. It lost money. John Wick lost money. Let's see. John Wick 2. Okay. How is John Wick 1 $100 million, but John Wick 2 is $40 million? That's a huge difference. And that made money. But it only made $171 million. I thought so John Wick is considered what, a cult classic? Like that is the most John Wick has made is the fourth one at $362 million. That's very surprising to me. See, I didn't watch John Wick when it first came out. We literally just watched them all within the last like 4 months. Everyone raved about it, and I thought John Wick was a much bigger movie than what I'm looking at here. Like, that's very surprising. Now, John Wick 2, the budget was $40 million. That's phenomenal. And then the third one was $75 million. And then John Wick 4. Wait a minute. There's no way the first one was 100 million. No way. No, that's got to be wrong. That's wrong. If the second movie was, there's no way. The fourth one was 100 mil. The first one had to be like 20 mil. They probably doubled the budget. Hold on a second. John Wick 1 budget. Oh, okay. That makes much more sense. Okay. It was 20 to 30 million. So I'll give it 20. We'll just say 30 mil. That makes much more sense. Yeah, okay. That made money. John Wick made 75 and it was a 20. That made money. Yeah, well, usually when I typed in John Wick budget, it gave me 4, but it doesn't say 4. It just said 100 million. I was like, wait, that's weird because John Wick 2 was 40 mil. And usually they double it. So if it makes money, they double the production. So it went from 20 to 40, right? Then it went to 75, then it went to 100. Farmer says I'm being gray name shamed. Why? Why? I'm reading your stuff. No one's shaming you. Oh, that comes out real soon, doesn't it, Water? I want to see that. Sisu? The people that made John Wick? It looks great. Is it this weekend? Oh. I don't know if I'll be able to see it. It might have to be one of those movies I see later date because I can't take my son to it. I don't have time during to see it. Maybe I can do during the week. Maybe I'll cancel a show one day and go see it. Sarge. Reminds me of the movie with Brad Pitt killing Nazis. Which one was that? Was Glorious Bastards. No, Inglorious Bastards. That's it. That's it. I think Guardians will be decent. And again, I'm going in completely different. I'm not going in as a I don't care if it connects to anything. I just want it to connect to the other Guardians, right? Like I just want 1, 2, 3 series and be done. The only movie I ever walked out on was Joe's Apartment. Joe's Apartment. Which movie doesn't do anything for you, boss? Talking about Guardians? Guardians? Yeah, the trailer, when I watched the trailer, it didn't do anything for me. The only reason I'm seeing it is because I like the first one, I like the second one, so I just assume that the third one's going to be decent. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. A super low expectations. Is live streaming on Jedi Survivor PlayStation 5 gameplay right now? Yeah, I can't look at that. Yeah, I'm not going to look at that. I can't show someone else's live stream. That's not cool. Cujo said Disney managed to screw up Mando, and I'll be able to pull off screwing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Perhaps. I mean, it could be bad. If you watch Roar, why don't you play AC Valhalla? What do you mean? Why would me watching someone make me want to play another game? I feel, Travis, that the D&D movie feels, from the trailer, it feels like a Guardian of the Galaxy vibe. It was? Yeah. That's kind of a turnoff to me. When I saw it, I was like, it feels like a copycat of Guardians of the Galaxy. All right. Yeah, but why would I don't watch people like for what the games they play. I watch it for the information they give. He does a lot of information on games that I'm interested in. I don't have time to play a Valhalla or AC game. An AC game is not a game that I could play and be like, oh, I'm gonna jump in for 2 hours this week and then come back 2 hours next week. It's not a game like that. I would forget what I'm doing or where I'm going, and it's very slow. And like Guardians back when it was good, like Guardians 1. I have Odyssey. Just never played it. Last AC game I played was the one in London. Was it London? Paris? I forget. I think it was in France. That's the last one I tried. I forget which one that one. Unity. That's it. It was bad. It was bad, Travis. Unity was so glitchy. Yeah, I want to play it, Water. I like the Vikings and stuff like that, but it's intimidating to play. I just don't have the time for a game like that size. You gotta understand, like from my perspective of playing video games, is that we'll play a game, like for instance, right? We just played through a whole complete season, okay, of MLB. I played every morning, right? We played as like 4 or 5 series a day for like 2.5 weeks. Okay, got it done, and now I probably won't play it again on stream. We might jump back in or whatever, but I'll play off stream and upload stuff. Right? Hogwarts Legacy, we played it constant every single day, morning and evening, until we were done. We put 100 hours into it, and then we put it down. I pushed through the baseball one. What's going on, Mo? I pushed through the baseball one more for myself than you guys, because I know a lot of you didn't like the Major League Baseball. But at the same time, I mean, one, because of the viewership when I was playing it, and then two, the viewership when I posted. But that was for me. Like I liked baseball. I love baseball, and I wanted to play it. How can you play Assassin's Creed in like 5-minute spurts? You can't. And that's the deal. That's why I don't jump into those games. Unity was terrible. When it first came out, it was terrible. I would jump off a building into a hay pile and fall right through the map. And then I would get glitched and get paused. I would cut through stuff. My head would stretch across the screen. It was so bad. It's still not great. Yeah. And then when I looked at like playing Assassin's Creed, and I'm being very generalistic here because I haven't played Odyssey, I haven't played um what was the one, Origins, Odyssey, and then Valhalla. I haven't played the new versions of it. But when I played the other Assassin's Creed, in my head I was just like, it's the same. It's just the same thing all the time. You know, go find the thing, go get the bird, go jump off the thing, go kill the. I was just like, it's very. I saw the curtain, you know? I saw the wizard behind the curtain. I was like, I don't want to partake in this anymore. I hear great things about Odyssey. I do. I hear great things about it. But I just don't have the time to put into it. Same with Valhalla, with the expansion packs and whatnot. There's something, and maybe SkillUp screwed me up with this, right? Because SkillUp said when he was playing, I think it was Odyssey, and then he played Valhalla, he said, they're so large just to be large. And I was like, I don't know if I want to play an open world game like that anymore, where it's like kind of like boring, right? And if you enjoy it, I'm not saying you're wrong to enjoy it. I just think it's stuck in my head that Assassin's Creed is just kind of bloated for bloated's sake. I like that there's so much going on, but they have quick travel. Maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe once it slows down, we're gonna be playing Jedi Survivor starting Friday, and then all next week and whatever until we beat it. And then we have Diablo this summer. So maybe between Survivor and Diablo, maybe we'll jump in. Who knows? Mo's jumping into Division 2. I don't know. I just like it. I don't want to play Destiny anymore. I'm not even interested in Destiny, whatever. If they, I know a lot of people are talking about Destiny 3, and I'm so far out of Destiny, I don't even know why they're talking about Destiny 3, but I'm not even interested in Destiny 3. Not looking forward to it. Not going to play it if it ever comes out. I don't even know if I'm going to play the next Bungie game. Because I know they're, as you said up above, very formulaic. I that's what Bungie is. I don't know if I want to do that again. There's always sales going on with Ubisoft games as well. Just thinking about it, I thought about Destiny the other day. I was like, I hated going like logging in. I hated it. I literally despised like going to a job. I was like, ugh, I gotta play Destiny again today. Right, Mo? I mean that would be one of the reasons. I just finished everything. Should be in the main game of Division 2 and just started Warlords DLC, and wow, it's different. What should I expect just starting the new DLC? How's it different? New York is I don't know, just the whole area of Warlords. The story is, I think, a little bit better than what the original story was. I like New York better. It's just a different landscape and whatnot. I like the mission stories and stuff inside there as well. It's more of the same, Winzo. It's more of the same. My wife just made some like soup or something. I can smell it. Smells delicious. Yeah, if you're on Xbox, Sarge is the leader of our squad there. If you guys want to join, just send him an invite, and he'll add you. We still have people play. We have randoms that joined our clan. I turned Destiny over to my 7-year-old. Do what he pleases. Yeah. Did he start a fresh character? Or is he using your character, Farmer? Buttery smooth. Is it like so smooth like Keystone? So smooth. No, Heartlands is a separate game completely. Mo, if you want to be a part of our clan, you're more than welcome to bring your sons over too. I asked my wife, I'm like, "What'd you cook? It smells delicious." Right? And she's like, I just poached some chicken. It's cooking. It's just chicken. I'm like, it smells delicious. It smells like a soup. It smells like a chicken broth or whatever. Now I'm like super hungry. I gotta eat lunch anyway, but she's gonna make some tacos tonight. Chicken tacos. Tacos. You guys have a Tijuana Flats by you. The other day I went to Tijuana Flats and I got the steak flautas, I think they're called. Actually pretty good. The only issue I have with them is that the flautas that they make are very airy. So like the ends of them is more dough than the actual meat, but the inside, like the centerpieces, are really good. There's a fog of war and 4 yellow circles to go to. So the map, you have to actually explore and get rid of the fog of war. Yeah, you have to explore. And when you go around, collect all the little radar dishes type of thing. Get all the echoes. There's a lot. I still don't even have everything. Yeah, they're good. They're good, boss. Deltona area, that's about 40 minutes from me. How long are you here for? How long are you here for, Water? Flatas? Is that flatas? I'm a white guy. I can't really pronounce. Oh, just for the Motor weekend? I've met a bunch of people. They come over here and they'll go to like Disney Springs or Orlando like a Universal area, and we'll meet at like City Walk. You used to live in Florida, Mo? Two 2003. What part did you live in? I was in. I went back to college for the second time. I can say this: the sun is different in Florida. Yes, yes, it is. It's angrier. Oh, Fort Myers, yeah. Okay, you were stationed over here. Yeah, so Tampa, yeah. Well, there's also the military base up in the Panhandle, over by uh, the hell's the place called up there? I can't think of it right now. I'll tell you what, man. That's the one thing the bug did to me. My brain, I cannot think of certain things anymore. It's terrible. It's affected my brain. Like the simplistic things that I used to know, I can't. Just completely gone. Arizona's sun is quite different as well, Ford. I was out there for a bit. We went to Palm Springs and Phoenix, and man, but a Florida boy going to Arizona, like you can just feel like the moisture being sucked out of my body. No, Sarge, it's not age. It's literally it literally was COVID. Has nothing to do with my age. I read and do all that stuff. I read every single day. It's literally there's something like blocked. Oh yeah, farmer. I've been doing that. I've been doing it for about 2 months now. I've been exercising for about 2 months now. I feel much better that way. Yeah, Arizona is the dry heat, and then if you go to Colorado, it's like static shock area where you everything you touch, you just shock yourself. I like the Utah area. I like Arizona area. If I ever left Florida, I would probably either move to like North or South Carolina, or I would probably move. It would either be Texas or Arizona. Good, good. My static has made me powerful. I take that already, Water. Yeah, my wife is a person that does all like the natural stuff. I take ginseng, and when I'm sick, I do all these different things, natural things. I don't ever take like over the counter medicine and stuff like that. Yeah. She makes this drink. We call it the what the hell? See, I can't even think of it. My brain is literally we call it the flu shot. She makes this like orange juice with like ginseng and all this other stuff in it, like ginger and stuff. Oh, it's potent. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, first is from Utah. We tried to meet when we were out there. I met him when he came over here to Florida. Division or Battlefront? Division or Battlefront? Division or Battlefront? Oh, what to play right now? You're gonna play Battlefront, Sarge? Triple XP, bro. Triple XP. Yeah, turmeric's in that drink she makes. The heat in Texas, man. I got a heat stroke when I worked out there. We were shooting out for Shipping Wars when I was doing that show, and I got a heat stroke when we were out in the car. We're doing the auctions out in the heat. It was in the summer. Whew, 125 degrees. That was just brutal. Working 12 hours out in the sun. there's a mod, Water. They have the Bad Batch. They have the Bad Batch in Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna stick with my prediction. Okay, I've said it for years, and I'll keep saying it. Right, this right, they are definitely making a Battlefront 3, and I say it's gonna come out by 2025 is what I think it's gonna come out. They'd be stupid not to. I think they will. I think they'll do a Battlefront 3. I think Respawn or EA, whatever you want to call, I think EA has made Respawn make the next Star Wars Battlefront 3. They're working on a shooter. Finally, anniversary date. I mean, the anniversary date would be 2025 because the original game came out in 2005. Right? Battlefront release. September 20th, 2004. So it could come out next year. I'm telling you, they got to be working on something. It was 2020. It was 2004, 2005, 2015, 2017. Does Battlefront have PvE? It does. We played it last night. Last night on stream, me and Sarge and Kuda Papa were playing against the PvE, and we were getting our asses destroyed by the NPCs. Destroyed. It was a good time. We were playing against people in the very beginning, and then we went and played the co-op missions, and it was tough. It was tough. I think we won 2 matches, maybe 3. Maybe. We lost a lot. Yeah, you could pick up you could pick it up cheap, I think, right now. Let me see what it is on. Let's see, Battlefront 2. On Steam. 75% off right now. You can get the Celebration Edition for $10. There's a full story campaign, right? Full story campaign inside there. If you get it on Xbox, I don't know if you have Xbox. Where's this one now? That's Xbox One. I don't know how much the price is there. I thought it was free on Steam? No, they still make money off of it. What do you mean? Yeah, 75% off Star Wars Battlefront 2 right now. $20. Let's see, virtual currency. I think it's $20 on PlayStation. Yeah, it's $20 on PlayStation. You get $40 on PlayStation for the Celebration Edition. That gets you all the stuff. The Standard Edition is $20. And on Xbox, it's $20 as well. Or you can go to GameStop. GameStop. Let me see how much it is at GameStop. They're probably selling it for $20 as well. $10. $10 at GameStop. Well, they don't make it for the Xbox Series X. You would get the Xbox One version. Go to GameStop and just take it. All your appearances and stuff, Sarge, all of them would be unlocked. Like if you went to the appearances of all the heroes and stuff, they would all be unlocked if you had it. Right. I have it on Steam, I believe. I think I deleted it though. If you go to the appearances, like if you click on a character and go to their appearance, it'll say like 4 of 4 or 10 of 10. I don't think you purchased it, Sarge. No, I don't have it. I could have sworn I got it though. You see. Oh yeah, I have it. I got it. I just not downloaded on my PC. All right. That's going to do it for tonight. Or tonight. Today. Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, GXG, Generation X Gaming, weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. We'll probably go over some of the stories that we talked about this morning, but now with Sarge getting his opinion and with you guys in chat as well, we interact with chat, and I appreciate everyone coming out this morning. If you the stories that we covered this morning, we covered Jedi Survivor reviews, talked about the problems of it and the solutions that they already did with the patch. We talked about Microsoft and what the CMA and what they potentially could do in the future, and then we went over the Flash trailer, and then we kind of bullshitted at the end, near the end here. So I do appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us each and every single day. If you like this content, please make sure you hit that like button. Helps us out. It takes 2 seconds, less than 2 seconds to hit that like button. If you didn't like the content, I do appreciate you for coming by and giving it a shot. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, like I said, for Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. And then you can also listen to us after the fact over on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. You can also watch the video formats of all the past season that we've done so far on GXG over on Spotify as well. And that does also help me out if you guys go listen to that. If you're, if you don't get to watch the show live, if you go to Spotify and watch it or listen to it, it does help me out a bunch as well. Appreciate it very much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.